Hey everyone, my wife posted this on the Facebook group, and several of you requested that I do a walk around, and then also talk about, there it goes. Also talk about how I built this chicken hatcher and the parts involved. So we're going to do a quick walk around, kind of just show you an overview, and then I've got a wiring diagram on a whiteboard. Then we'll talk about what it took to do it. So I went and got this Tupperware tote from Walmart. It's a Sterilite. It's got, clamps on the side to close the lid. You can see on the inside, I have 2 light bulbs in there. I have my webcam mounted on the side. I have a standard computer fan running there. I have a digital thermometer, an analog thermometer, and the hot water heater thermostat back there. If you look, the wiring bundle comes up the top. And ignore this because this was some trial and error. I tried cutting some holes with the jigsaw because I was originally going to mount it on the top. Decided not to do that. So I got my wire bundle inside this wire conduit, just for, be clean. It runs back to the inside. And then I bought, I had about a 10-foot long computer cable that hooks it to any standard desktop, which I cut in half and used to hook to the thermostat in there. I mean, you guys know what a computer cable looks like. It's one of those. So that's just the walk around. So stuff I needed, excuse my work in progress bathroom, a drill, wire cutters, needed a Sharpie. That means see it just went off. Needle nose, assorted bolts, washers. You may not need this stuff, but I got it. This is a shrink wrap or heat shrink. Whenever you add a connector on the end of a wire and you want to clean it up a little bit, make it even more safe, slide this over the wire first, then heat it up and it shrinks down. I got a little bit of door insulation right there. I thought about putting underneath this as an extra step, but it wasn't necessary yet. Okay, let's look at the wiring diagram. All right, here's my wiring diagram. The top part here is just the standard wiring for not the fan, but the thermostat and lights. So if you look, I have a standard 3-prong plug with a black, white, and a ground. Sorry, I should have labeled that as ground. Black wire here, white wire there. Oh, kick back on, it's working. And then the corresponding wire for the lights down below it. If you notice, each light here, I've got 2. Each light has its own wiring independent of the other. Through trial and error, I realized this is the best way. I attempted to wire them together in a series where you daisy chain these 2 together and only use 1 pair of wires to run from the thermostat. It worked, but not as good. The bulbs didn't get as hot. They lit up, but they kind of look like Edison bulbs, and that wasn't good enough for the heat. So don't wire those in a series. If you have 1 light, nothing to worry about. If you get 2, wire them independently of each other. The problem with that is it's a lot of wire. That's okay. Also, I didn't mention this before, but that is 12 gauge wire, flexible 12 gauge wire, and you want it to be flexible because it runs to the top here, and then we take that lid on and off. Down here is a wire diagram for the fan. So I didn't run out and just buy some fan. I'm a computer guy, so I have computer parts laying around. So I had a computer fan, and I knew those computer fans run on about 12 volts. And I also know the standard USB cable runs on something like, 5 or 12 volts output. So what I did, I took a Samsung USB brick and then a Samsung micro SD cable, and I cut it. And there were 4 wires in it. And with a voltmeter, I was able to tell that red and black were the standard 2 wires that I needed. Then went on the internet and I looked at the wiring for the computer fan. Black was ground and yellow was 12-volt power. So what I did is I only connected 2 out of each 4 wires. So each of them had 4, only needed 2. We tried doing this before with no fan, and it just didn't work. You know, we had 2 thermometers inside there, and one would say 100 degrees, one would say 105, and then, you know, it just wasn't consistent. So we ended up we put this fan in there and made the fan blow across the light bulbs to kind of give it that convection effect and do even heating throughout. One thing to be sure of, when you mount your fan, make sure there's space behind your fan so it can suck air from that space and then blow across the lights. You can't really see it in there because of, there you go, you can see it. You can see I put a couple nuts in there behind it before I bolted it together, and it works just fine. Also, one more thing to note, a thermostat for a hot water heater is considered analog. It's a mechanical thermostat. So basically what happens is when, you know, the temperature gets to a certain point, it'll make contact inside there. Versus that electronic one right there, that thermostat, that's digital. So there's going to be a little difference between the two when you measure. So once you power this thing on, you got to find the sweet spot. It took us about three different times to figure out where that sweet spot was, and then we had to adjust on the thermostat itself. There are other thermostats you can use, or you can get on eBay. I ordered one. It was like $10, and it's a digital thermostat. So, you know, maybe it's better. I don't know. I'm gonna try it and see. But we were kind of in a pinch for time. My wife has some, I think they're called Samani eggs. So those large black meat chickens, and she really didn't want to lose those. So I had to use the parts that Harbor Freight had and that Lowe's had. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to put a parts list down below this video. If you have any questions, let me know. And I think I'll do a follow-up video later of these little guys on the hatch. Thank you. Hey guys, one more thing. As I'm sitting here editing the video, I realized maybe I wasn't so clear about something. So I mentioned wiring your lights in the series, and don't do that, but I didn't really give you a visual what that was. So here are 2 light sockets that I purchased from Lowe's for a separate project. So what I tried doing was wiring those in a series. So you see here, they're daisy chained together. So this wire and this wire would have went back to the thermostat, but there's just not enough juice coming off that thermostat to push these lights like that. So you need independent wiring all the way to the thermostat. So instead of them chained together, independently to the thermostat on both sides. And also, I'll show you something else I ran across that really helps. I connected these 2 together using this guy right here. It doesn't look like much, but that is like heat shrink tubing, and then a ball of solder in the middle. I'll show you what it looks like new. And those are called solder seal wire connectors. I'm sure you can find them on Amazon. I think these came off Amazon, and they may have a different name. But that's what they are. It's heat shrink tubing with a little bit of solder in the middle, and you can get that melted down with a heat gun, probably a hair dryer. You can use a lighter if you can't find any of the other ones. So what I do is I'll connect something like that together. And before I do, I'll slide a piece of this other heat shrink tubing over it. So when I'm done connecting this, I can slide this back over and shrink it down, and you'll never see that connection made. And it's also one more layer of, insulation against anything getting out or any wires getting exposed. I don't think I forgot anything else. I think I misspoke on the breeds of the chickens. I just know she's got a lot of chickens with a bunch of weird names, and I don't know half of them. I just know they're chickens. And I do this because she asked me to. I build and she breeds the chickens. So if any questions, just put them down below in the comments. I'll make sure I have that parts list on there, and I'll give you the approximate cost as well. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.